Why, hello everybody, and welcome back to Age of Strife. So, let's do it. You guys head back to the sheriff's station.
We're all armed and armored, I think, was it?
Yes.
Well, I am at least. I get out my
I'm
armor.
not.
I put on my gray fur cloak. It costs too much money. I guess it is late October, so it's not even unreasonable weather for a fur cloak.
Right. So, you guys make your way back to the sheriff's station. What do you do?
Oh, I head up to the door and I knock on it, and
The door is open.
unless it's open.
Yeah, it's
Alright,
wide
I
open.
just- I walk into the doorway and knock on the door as it's open.
The sheriff turns around and sees you. He gives you guys a bit of a glare and says, I thought we'd come to an understanding about this.
Well, the tongue is still intact, right?
For now.
There's nothing.
I close the door behind as we come in.
Yeah, I guess we all kind of crowd into his tiny little office.
The sheriff rightens himself, comes out from behind his desk, but stands very near to it, so his sword is easily within reach. Or his mace club is easily within reach.
I say, we found out who that man earlier is, and why he was here.
What man?
You know, the one who was paying you a lot of money to keep you from going after his gang.
You know,
The
Ash,
bloody
some bloody trolls.
Doesn't look good for the sheriff to be accepting money from a gang leader. Or, I guess he's not the leader, but a gang member.
Sounds like you want to be sheriff of this podunk town to me.
Oh, no, I'd rather not have that job. It seems pretty obvious.
Yeah. I'm sure you wouldn't. Real easy to talk shit when you're not actually doing anything.
Well, it's real easy to talk shit when I have all the authority. So, we'd like for you to not cut this man's tongue out yet, if that's okay.
Nope. That man is a sorcerer. He's a witch, he's a warlock, and he presents a clear danger to this town. I have my boys going out and bringing back the tongue-removing implements right now. They should be here any moment, and that man won't be casting another spell for the rest of his life, which will be rather short.
See,
Well-
Sheriff, there seems to be a misunderstanding here in terms of status. Now, while we don't particularly care, I'm quite sure that the Countess would care, especially if it was spoken from the town crier that the sheriff was, not quite as principled as what the town and the Countess would expect.
He walks up to you, gets real close to your face, and goes, "Are you threatening me?"
Well, Sheriff,
No.
nobody
no,
likes
what-
corruption being exposed.
We don't want the status quo. It doesn't need to go down that path.
Uh-huh.
Really, all I want to do is have you appreciate the offer that I gave earlier and come out for a drink. And talking about shit, there's been way too much shit flung around, especially from those that shit should not be sticking to. So, in addition to not removing Bluebeard's tongue and giving us access, we would like it if we were shown the proper respect as well. That is the terms of our deal.
My lord, if you have a problem with how I manage this town, I am sure the Countess, Madame Lorwyn, would be happy to clear things up for you. See, this here place is falling apart. It's real hard to keep things in line, and I may have unorthodox methods for doing it, but you do see law and order established around here. You go and stir the pot for your own likings, you may not like what comes out of it later.
I'm pretty sure that you won't like it more. And not only that, but I think the whole issue here is that law and order is not being done. But however, as I said, we're not fussed. We really don't care. But the Countess and the town crier, well, that may just ruin your reputation.
The people don't like corruption, Sheriff, and you know how they tend to be. They can get all riled up real quickly.
You'd burn your own house down just so you got your way, wouldn't you?
We'd be the ones exposing the corruption, Sheriff.
And what do you think happens? Ugh, corruption. You naive. You. What happens? You think I don't? What happens? You think I try and shut down each one of these gangs? You know how long my men would be out there working? I wouldn't have any men left to run this town.
Sure. We don't mind how you do things.
Oh, but you'd be willing to burn everything down. You'd be willing to throw the whole town into disarray just so I don't cut this man's tongue out. Just so I save a sorcerer's tongue?
He'll be dead soon enough. We just need more information from him.
Kind of
For a whole lot of you.
Perhaps I can offer a sweetener, Sheriff. You see, one of the reasons why we want to get the information from Bluebeard is obviously so we can find out if he did blind our father and get that rectified. I've always thought my father was a bit blind, especially after a good night out, but as a permanent thing, it's not a good thing. But the other thing is our father had taken back from Nixon a substantial amount of treasure. Perhaps we could offer you a portion of that just to signify that we are not unreasonable.
You do take bribes, after all.
That is not what is happening here. The whole lot of you don't even understand how this town functions.
Sheriff, by chance, what do you do with the money that they pay you?
I pay my men.
You don't get money from the Countess to pay your men?
Not enough. Not enough to make sure everything in this town happens appropriately. There are more people working for me than just the few soldiers you see walking around. It's not just me and 12 men holding this town together.
Yes, we can tell.
Well, right now what we need is to question that man. If you just cooperate with us, maybe we can help you in expanding your force.
We don't need to be enemies.
I don't know the man you're asking, and I don't know what questions you need out of him.
I think I just outlined the information that we think he has. And
oh, that guy? On the cell over there? The sorcerer? We're cutting his tongue out. I don't give two shits about anything else in this town, but a sorcerer on the loose? That is dangerous.
Evan means he will speak no words.
You had your chance. It is clear he is not speaking to you guys. I don't know what methods you think you're going to use to get him to talk. It ain't going to work. I'm cutting his tongue out and keeping us all safe.
It's going to work, and you're going to leave as I get him to talk. So how about you carry on now and leave? Let us do our business.
I don't care if you're a noble or not. I have been appointed to this position by the Countess. You want to kick me out of my own station?
Sheriff, you may have been appointed to this position, and now you've broken the law.
I haven't broken any laws.
You haven't?
You got a problem with the way I do things.
Supporting
you take it up with Countess Lorwyn.
Well, Sheriff, you may enforce the laws, but we can enforce the laws too.
I'm gonna walk over to Stefan and say, this system, I can't follow it at all.
That's because you're too innocent and too naive, sister. Sheriff, as I said, we understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, and really we have no issue with that. As I said, though, the Countess and, well, the whole town as a whole may. All we ask is for one night, and we're certainly not going to put the town's safety at risk. And
you certainly are. You
no
either forcibly remove me from this place, or you get the Countess to agree these measures, but I'm pretty certain she'd rather see a sorcerer burned than waste our time with this nonsense.
Very well then. In that case, we shall be going to the town crier and then to the countess.
I recommend you do it in the other order.
No, see, the countess may or may not act, but with the town finding out about it beforehand, then she is forced. Her hand is forced. Good day, Sheriff. And I walk out.
When we walk out onto the street, I look to Luther. I think we should kill him right now. I whisper to him.
That may be.
Is there a lock on the door, Neil?
On the sheriff's station?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe if we're going to kill him in the name of law and order, talking to the Lorwyn first would be advisable.
We can say we were questioning and the sorcerer cast a spell and killed him.
With it, the problem is his wounds would show differently. They wouldn't show wounds from a spell, they would show wounds from a blade.
What do the wounds from a spell look like?
You can't see them, I assume.
Maybe say the sorcerer walked through the walls, through the bars magically, and picked up a sword and just started stabbing him.
I don't think killing the sheriff would assist us in this. Certainly not tonight. There is nothing to gain by killing the sheriff besides our own pettiness, and I think the plan that we have is much better. Murdering might be your way of politics there, brother, but civilized people do things with information.
Another thing we need to be concerned about
Words.
before we go to the Lorwyn's, if that's something we might do. He seemed fairly confident that it would come of nothing. We need to be sure that the Lorwyn's aren't completely fine with gangs being.
No, and see that's why we just go to the town crier, or because we can't go to the countess and
getting the people on our side is. I think that's the best course of action.
Here is the issue. If we go to the countess first and we say to her what has been happening, if she says, that's okay, don't look into it any further, then we cannot go to the town crier because that would be moving against her and that would obviously cause considerable issues. If we go to the town crier, then it will be found out by the countess that we went to the town crier before coming into her and bringing the town to disrepute. It's a bit of a catch-22. I don't know which of the risks is better for us.
At this time, you see two of the town guard walking up to the front door of the sheriff's station.
Well,
You guys are kind of in the street, sort of blocking their way.
I'm going to step towards the sheriff's station door and just hold up my shield and look at them and shake my head.
They exchange glances, kind of whisper for a moment, and then one of them calls out, "Bruce! Bruce!" The door begins to open, but kind of like bumps into your side, Ginger.
I pull Ginger back and say, "What are you doing? Let's head off, everyone."
The door opens. The sheriff's standing there. The men start to shuffle, keeping their eyes on you sideways so they can make it to the door without taking their eyes off of you guys, and move inside. The door shuts behind them.
So are we just giving up on the blue-bearded man?
The sheriff has the power over this situation. There's nothing that we can do about that. putting yourself in direct confrontation with the sheriff and his men, is, especially out in public, is not a wise idea, sister. Let's head out. I say,
I wasn't hoping on any confrontation. It's just
Let's move forward. Let's move on. So, what shall we do?
Well, we have something to be doing tomorrow, so we can't do anything that would require us here for the aftermath. I believe we should just go about our business for now and make sure the sheriff pays later.
Actually, I think if we're out of the city, I think that's a very good thing. If we're going to go to the town crier, if we're just going to go to the countess, then we're heading to Thornwatch
We
Keep.
should spread some rumors around before we leave. We should get the idea out there that the sheriff is not a good man. That he's letting these gangs run about without resistance.
Yes, I think that's a good idea. Perhaps we can spend a couple of hours doing that, but we're very noticeable. I mean, if it can be linked back to us more than rumor, then we are in trouble.
Well, if talking to the town crier is something that we can do, I don't think... In this case, I don't think it being linked back to us is much of a big deal. Because it's just a simple rumor without our names behind it. With our names behind it, it's something more damning.
It doesn't have to be us that goes to the town crier directly. We just get any boy to go and do that work for us.
Why would the town crier take orders from a boy?
He wouldn't, but he would take payment and the message from the boy and then spread that as is his job.
what do we gain from this now that they're going to cut out the Bluebeard's tongue?
Because sister, we have made a threat and now we need to carry it out. Otherwise, our word is not our bond.
Yes, it would be great for us to be able to stop Bluebeard's tongue from being cut out, but I don't think it's something we can do right now.
All right, fair enough. So when this rumor comes out, all these gangs who are settled in their ways and they've got a sort of system going on, they're gonna start fighting, right?
No.
That's just worse for the sheriff.
Yeah, that's right, and it seems more likely that they would probably go the ground a little bit, and the sheriff would have to probably put up a token resistance and take one of the gangs down, and that would probably be all that would come of it. But what we can say to the countess is that the Longclaw gang attacked our father, and the sheriff has been taking bribes, and so he allowed an attack on the noble family to go uninvestigated. And it was only through our intervention that the Longclaw gang was brought to justice. So at that point, there's a significant failing in his role. But the question is, do we spread rumors now? Do we go to the town crier now, or do we stop at the countess at Thornwatch Keep?
I think it would be better to approach the countess first, because if the countess is aware of everything and we act against him, we could be acting against her.
Well, if we can always put the rumor out there anonymously after we talk to the countess.
Or perhaps we could put the rumor out there, have it so it can't be traced back to us, and then go to the countess. Now, word won't have reached the countess by the time we get there if we're setting out tomorrow. And if the rumors can't directly be traced back to us, then she can't directly move against us.
Either way works, I believe. What matters is we get the town against the sheriff, because nobody likes a corrupt sheriff.
Especially people who are run down.
Yes, especially those who are they have to pay protection money, they're getting robbed.
Woofer, could you promise me that if the town does go into chaos, you've got a plan to fix it at least.
Yes, of course.
All right, thanks.
Very well. Let's. So how should we spread these rumors?
Are you guys still just standing out front of the sheriff's station?
I
think we've probably started like just walking around, I guess, because I don't really
Walking back to the house.
I don't really want to be like outside the sheriff's station yelling about getting the people against him. Yeah.
Very well. So spreading rumors it is. Now, perhaps we could just pay some young people to go spread the word.
I think that would probably work.
Very good. Let's do that.
I guess the power of the printing press hasn't been. We can't start handing out flyers.
Yeah, so Neil, we're just going to just go talk to some, or get some young kids to go and spread the news around town.
So,
pay them a couple of copies to do so.
So you're gonna go find some street urchins to
maybe
do
some
what?
hobos. There's some hobos.
Right. What is their message that they're delivering?
We just want to let them know that the gangs are operating and the sheriff's helping them.
What I mean, I think if you're talking to hobos and children, they're gonna need a little bit more direction than that.
Yeah, the sheriff's being paid off by the gangs.
Okay, so how much money are you sinking into this endeavor?
I wouldn't be opposed to sinking a lot. I just don't know how much exactly we would need to kind of get the number out.
Well, let's see. A farmer's wages, would be, where are my numbers here? Farmers make about $1 a day, on average, over the course of a year. So giving someone $1 for a day's worth of work, that's also, I think, what a laborer pays. If you want to just hire a day laborer, it's about $1 a day. So if you want to hire someone for a day to go and do anything, it's usually about $1 a day. You might be able to pay children a little bit less, and they're not doing hard labor, they're just talking, so you might be able to get away with 5 copper for a day of spreading whatever information you want.
And Neil, can I go? Sorry, I also want to go around to the taverns later on and just get the rumors started in a few different parts, so it can't be all linked back to me.
Sure. The other issue is there's no accountability. You can pay these people to do these things,
but we don't know that they actually do them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's possible that some of them do, but it's also possible that some of them will just take the money and then go do something else. But I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just letting you know of the difficulties of this sort of endeavor.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly the news itself is sensational enough, perhaps, that it would be a talking point, even if they didn't go out and do their job as such. Like, it's still pretty explosive in terms of, small town, everyone knows everything about everyone. So if you tell enough people, then the word will certainly get around. So
I'm also gonna float the term "Crooked Bruce" around a bit. Just saying.
Okay. Well,
I think I'd be down to pay 5 gold to get. How many would that be? 50 people out?
That'd be 50 people. You might have a hard time finding.
Yeah.
50 people.
53 people.
Yeah, maybe a couple of gold then.
All right.
Yeah.
So why don't you sink 2 gold into it?
Yep.
Yeah,
and I'd say we tell people slightly different things to split it up. One, that the sheriff is taking bribes. 2, that let's see, the second one would be, well, the sheriff is corrupt. He's known to be corrupt. Secondly, that he's been seen taking bribes. 3, that the gangs have own the sheriff.
Yeah, he works for the gangs. I think that'd be a good one.
Yep.
As you go about, finding street urchins to spread this information for you. You get a lot of them going, or when you're trying to have one of them spread information that the sheriff is corrupt, when the kids goes, yeah, and?
Oh, God.
Nobles are corrupt, so big deal. They've always been.
Man, I need my communist pamphlet.
And we would like you to make sure that it is the talk of the town.
All right.
Very good.
But that's sort of kind of the response you get when you're telling these
I think
people who are like starving on the streets that the sheriff is corrupt and he's taking bribes from gangs. They're kind of like status quo, man.
The people I talk
Man's
to,
keeping
I'm
us
gonna
down.
Say, you deserve a better life than that.
Ah.
You rise up and do something about it.
There we go.
Make what's worth great again.
People deserve more. The common man deserves more than he gets.
Okay, there we go. So you do your job. You start spreading this about. You pay a couple of gold into it, and eventually that day draws to a close.
So I want to go to the taverns. I'm guessing if I spend a lot of time at the taverns, I know the gossipers.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'll also be just bringing it up in conversation with the gossipers as I drink my way through the
Saying that you've
taverns.
seen the sheriff taking bribes and kind of controlled, being paid off by various gangs in the town, that sort of stuff.
Well, I do have an etiquette proficiency, so I'm guessing I could do it in a more subtle way than even I can think of.
Give me an etiquette proficiency check.
All right, I will.
I like that.
Let's see.
It's a creative use of etiquette. I like it.
I know. It's like the only time you can actually use etiquette. D20 plus 14.
Yeah, normally it's like a passive trait. Ooh, beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I probably could have thought about using it to squeeze more money out of Lithman. Maybe I can do it later.
Okay.
Yeah. So the heart is really just getting other people to bring it up is probably the other thing, the main thing, and also to talk about the amount of crime that's been going on and how nothing's been done about it. And then to other people, I'm talking about that the corruption of the sheriff has gone too far, and just that side of things, and letting them drive the conversation.
All right, perfect. The day closes, and we'll move on to the next day. You have your cart. You've got 2 donkeys, an old one and a young one, and you've got. Well, did you get 3 barrels of ale? I don't remember the exact number.
We got
six.
and we're taking 3, so I suppose we're leaving the other 3 in like the cellar of the house.
And someone has paid for all of these barrels of ale already, right?
Yeah, I'll pay for it and just get Lithman's money for it back.
Cool.
Hang on. Oh, sorry. The agreement wasn't that we were going to pay for it. It was we were going to get the Lithmans to pay for it. We didn't actually specify when, where, or how.
Well,
right.
Lithman said that he'd pay after his son was back.
Right.
Yes, Lithman
Someone
said
needs
that.
to.
But what we told the brewer was the Lithmans would be paying for it, and it was just hand waved from there. So.
When they come delivering the barrels, they do, ask for the money.
Yeah, I'll give the money to them and say it's from the Lithmans or whatever, and I'll just take the money from the Lithmans when we're back.
Okay. Cool. I just want to make sure that the brewers get paid right
Yeah.
now, or if they're not getting paid right now, I'd need to know one way or the other.
Yeah, Thorn pays his debts.
Okay.
Did you have the money for that on your character sheet, or was it out of house fund?
I have 19 gold on my character sheet.
Okay, how much was the total of the?
5 gold for 6 barrels. It's 30 gold.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll
take it out
throw
of
in
the house fund.
15 of mine, and then just take
Okay.
50 off the trade.
Right.
Okay.
I've got no money on my sheet. I'll let you know whenever I do ever take up.
You're broke. All right.
Yeah.
You guys have
Okay.
your cart.
So,
You've had a good night's sleep. Your cart is filled with 3 barrels of ale plus 20 days of food.
How many hit points can I gain after that day?
1 HP for kind of walking around, doing nothing too strenuous.
Yeah. So that
Were
puts
you
me-
down?
I was at 5 out of 8, so now I'm at 6.
Cool.
So on my donkey, I've got well, I can carry all the javelins and all the spears, right? Because they're not that heavy; they're just awkward. Like, can they all
Right,
be
they're like
carried
3
on
pounds
donkey?
each, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can put the spears just in the wagon next to the barrels of ale.
Okay. So I've got my long spear, 8 short spears, and 10 javelins, and I'm carrying my shield, and I've got my armor on.
Okay.
That's
There's a
everything.
lot of stuff.
I'm going to keep my crossbow on one of the wagons, but positioned so I can get to it easily if necessary.
Sure.
And they'll be on that side of the wagon.
Great. Okay.
Do healing poultices, I think we said last time they need to be fresh-ish. How long exactly do they last?
Good question. I think a healing poultice will last once it's. They ought to be applied, made and applied immediately. If you make one and leave it, it'll probably last for 2 days before most of all the good stuff in it has kind of just dried out or leaked away.
Yeah.
It's usually make it and use it immediately sort of stuff.
Yeah, I think I'll make a couple and throw them on the cart,
Okay.
just in case.
Do we have a cost associated with creating those?
I know we have a greenhouse, so I think it was free when I did it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, you guys pack up and head towards River Grove. It takes you the better part of the day to get to Thornwatch Keep, or it will take you the better part of the day to get to Thornwatch Keep, assuming that it is peaceable.
As we travel, I would like to walk off to the side in flanking position of the wagon.
Sure.
I'm gonna sit on the cart because I'm mediumly encumbered with all my armor on.
Okay. You only put 3 barrels on the cart?
Yeah.
Okay. If there's 3 barrels on the cart, there's enough room for 2 people to ride.
Okay.
Enough weight for 2 people to ride.
Can I make a slight change? Can we take 4 barrels if we pay for it ourselves, just so we can get a profit from the centaurs? If we only take half our goods out, unless we're charging more than double, we're not going to make a profit from that.
Yeah, taking 4 is fine. And I guess it's like a covered carriage, right? So
It's an open wagon.
Okay.
Yeah. So 4 barrels of ale weighs 1,360 pounds. Your cart can carry 2,000 pounds. So that's fine. Plus Luther's, you're 140 and you've got 60 pounds of gear. So that brings up.
Yeah. About 90 pounds of gear.
God, you have so much gear.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're at 1,530 pounds or so.
I throw my rope on the wagon too, so that's another 24 pounds, but nickel and dimes.
Right. So we're still under the 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, we're fine.
So it looks like Luther and one other person can ride, and the other 2 can walk. Or 3 people can walk. Whatever.
Stefan would take the seat for now.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. Stefan and Luther ride. Tiberodite and Ginger
back
walk.
and drink the whole time.
Yeah. I've tapped one of the barrels.
Okay. And off you guys go towards Thornwatch. The day passes peacefully. There's no bandits. There's no monsters coming out of the swamps. You get a nice, wonderful stroll through the actually rather hot weather on your way to Thornwatch Keep. And you arrive there that evening. The keep is what did I say? It's a 4-story structure. I have my notes somewhere. We'll get to it later. It's a multi-story structure that used to have a big curtain wall around it, but after the war, the keep was badly damaged, and much of the wall was taken for repairs on the keep, and then the rest of the wall was kind of taken. Those already cut stones were taken and used elsewhere by villages and Wadsworth itself. So the curtain wall that was around the keep is now pretty much in shambles. There are a few small, what used to be temporary structures, but they've been temporary structures for a very long time now, set up to house anyone that might come through. but not really that many people come by. There is a dungeon entrance where the people who are kept in the dungeon for a long period of time are. That used to be a real structure with a kind of a hole going down into the dungeon. Now it's pretty much just a staircase leading down into the dungeon.
And this is where it's not relevant to this family, but this is where Kel Rugsman Greendoll is, right?
No. No,
He
the Greenville
had
family
some
lives
villages.
elsewhere.
They had
He-
villages that she stopped at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that the knight who was way further down south?
Yeah, it's way down south.
No, it's the one that he's referring to. The one that mother and now father stopped at on their way back from Nixon.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that is further south, on the other side of the river. So it is a 4-story building, and there is a well out front of it as in addition. The dungeon actually does have a repaired above-ground stone building. You've seen it before. It's pretty much a one-room building that has a stairway leading underground to where the actual dungeons are. Are you guys planning on just camping out near the keep, or are you planning on resting inside the keep for the evening?
Resting inside.
I would like to go into the keep and who is it that's here? I'd like to talk to whoever would like have ideas of who's coming in and out.
Countess Joan Lorwyn runs the keep, although word around town is that she has been gone down to the capital
Okay.
because of the coronation of the new king. She's been gone for that.
Okay. Well, I'll try to find somebody that would have knowledge of the Lithman boy maybe heading through.
what was the Lithman boy's name again?
I don't even know if it was mentioned.
Would we know who the eldest son of the Lithman family is?
His name is also Ash.
Nice.
Sometimes, common names are common.
Yeah, but he's got a family name, Ash Lithman.
Yeah, Ash Lithman.
Okay.
Is
Yep.
there anyone else of the Countess's family that we would think of to go to in relation to the business with the sheriff, or is it just more so we're just forced to wait until the Countess is back?
She is the authority. Let's see. There's no one else that can really speak with her name. Does she have a husband? Let me take a look at my notes here. She has a husband and an heir. Her husband's name is Dearth, and her daughter's name is Lucy. Either one of them could speak, and depending on who is listening, might, at that point, it's a soft thing, right? If her husband says, do this, someone could say, of course, you're the Countess' husband, I will honor your voice as it is hers. Or someone might say, fuck off, you don't know what you're talking about, I answer to the Countess only. It becomes very much a social tug there.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question.
Yes. I mean, do we know anything about them? Like, are they just fops, or would they have power?
The husband is a fairly, I don't want to say timid man, but he married into the family. Lorwyn is not his native name, so he tends to kind of sit back, be a husband, manage affairs when directly told, but he tries not to make too many waves. He's the significant other. The daughter, the daughter is more apt to take a hand in things, but she's still fairly young and fairly inexperienced. So while she does like to get involved, she is aware that she doesn't have any real authority yet. But she is training and practicing.
Okay, but we could use her inexperience against her then.
Quite possibly.
So, Luther, are we going to bring up the matter with the sheriff, with the Countess being away?
Well, I suppose we could. but I think I'd like to give the rumors some time to stew and see what happens.
Very well. We shall say nothing then until that has progressed.
Yes, we should be focused on saving the Lithman boy anyway.
Is it worth stopping at the keep and asking them about some advice about how to deal with the centaurs?
I think it might be, yes. I think we should stop in for a little bit.
Plus, I wouldn't mind a proper bed for tonight.
Okay.
That's fine.
When you guys arrive at the keep, there are a few guards there, but not very many. There are a few servants as well. You hear that the Countess, as well as her whole family, have left and taken most of the soldiers with them. They are expected to return soon, but no one really knows when that will be. Luckily for you, most of the guards are gone, so you are allowed to sleep in the barracks because there's not really housing here. The keep used to have housing for other people, but that was all destroyed during the war. So the four of you are allowed to sleep in the barracks.
Really, the keep doesn't have guest rooms.
It does not have guest rooms. The guest rooms were outside of the keep before the war. It's only 4 stories, and there's not a lot of space in there for things like guest rooms.
Is there a ranger here? It seems like a place that might have a ranger.
No, ranger's not a specific title that you would have here, but the person who would function as a scout who keeps an eye on the countryside is gone with the Lorwynds as well to scout around their caravan.
All right. I guess we just sleep here.
Yeah.
Can we ask around then and see if there is somebody who is familiar, who is able to help us out?
With the area around here?
Yeah, and like the goings on. Maybe anybody's seen the.
Yeah. There is a knight who has been left in charge of the keep while Countess Lorwyn is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's the last name?
The knight's name. I don't think I actually have this written down. Let me double check. Oh, she's gone. He is gone. This knight's name is. Her name is Kel Breyer.
Last name?
No last name. Was raised as from a commoner to knighthood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I think or at least I will head up and talk to her at some point while we're there.
Okay.
Yeah, I went ahead as well.
Go for it. You guys can all talk to her together.
Okay.
All right.
Kel Breyer is there. She's led you to your quarters. She's assured you that no one really comes by the keep. You can leave your wagon and ale outside. No one comes up here to steal anything. It's safe out there. Don't worry about it.
Okay. And I'll just kind of mention that. Have you heard anything about the boy Ash Lithman coming through recently?
She furrows her brow. Yes. The Lithmans were here a few days ago. They had business with the Countess, but she was not here yet. I took their words down. But while they were here, the oldest boy, second in line, took off with one of his bodyguards and didn't return.
Do you know what he might have been doing? The whole reason we're out here is to look for him and see if we can't bring him back home.
They were riding east.
So towards River Grove. Then.
She nods.
Do you know anything about the centaurs in the grove? Do you think it's likely that they might be the reason for his disappearance?
Centaurs are a untrustworthy folk. They didn't take sides during the war. They just kept to their little forest and kept everyone out of it. They've been known to take prisoners.
So I've heard.
Usually we don't get them back. People go missing. People get picked up by centaurs, and oftentimes that's the last you hear of them.
Yes, well, we've also heard that they love ale, so we're hoping to find a peaceful solution and just make a trade to get the boy back. But if that doesn't work, we might end up in a fight. Have you
ever seen a centaur before?
No, I'm afraid I haven't.
Well, count yourself lucky. Half man, half horse. You've seen horses. You've seen the size of them. They're massive. Now imagine putting a man's torso where that neck should be. They're well over 7 feet tall.
So they're fairly strong warriors then.
Quite. I'd say strong as an ox, but I think strong as a horse is probably a better term in this situation. I guess that's not actually all that amusing.
Kel Breyer, if I may, I'm guessing that after the Liftman boy, after Ash went missing, that a search party was sent out?
Yes, but the area around here, Meadowlands north of the river, that is, didn't see anything. And there was no sign that the boy would head into the swamp, nor would he. His bodyguard had a good head on his shoulders, so likely we did find their horses wandering.
Oh, where did you find their horses?
To the east of the keep, down near the river. They were drinking water. Probably wandered there after the boy and his bodyguard got knocked off or taken out.
How far from the east of the keep?
How far were the horses found?
Yes.
Oh, 5 or 6 miles.
And you said that the centaurs don't actually come out of their forest that often.
Well, we don't head out there, that direction too much. They don't come out this way all that much. Can't say what they do east of River Grove. But they don't come west.
Okay, so now I'm just looking on the map here, and so 6 miles is right at the River Grove boundary.
Yeah.
So Kelbride, so the horses were found right on the edge of the grove. Is that correct?
No, maybe not right on the edge of the grove. Maybe a mile or so from it. Kind of at the apex of the turn of the river.
Well, I suppose we'll be heading out tomorrow morning. And
I didn't think you all were that friendly with the Lithmans.
Well, always good to help a neighbor in need. And
Real nice of you.
We happen to be a party of people that might be able to help them out.
And we're getting a little bit bored, so we wanted to explore the lands around us. It worked out well.
Good folk. Well,
I suppose you wouldn't want to. You wouldn't have any guards to spare to take with.
I just got myself and one other who keeps watch at night.
Yes, I figured.
Countess took most of her men.
Kelbright, we've taken the cargo of ale, but we don't actually know anything about the centaurs, and how do the previous traders deal with them? How are they?
Rarely. I don't know. They're chaotic creatures. Sometimes they're mildly pleasant, I guess. I've personally never chatted with one. I don't even know if they all speak the common tongue.
Yes, that
might
be an obstacle.
I just hear second-hand, third-hand reports. You know, before Nixon fell, they used to occasionally come out and trade with people on the river. But since the river's been closed, there's been a lot less dealings with them. I don't imagine anyone's chatted with the centaurs in over a year.
Well,
I think there are a couple of tribes that live in the grove that are separate. I don't really know which ones live where or what their names are, But I hear there are a few different factions within the forest.
And how big are the tribes, would you say?
You're asking all the right questions, and I don't have any answers for you. I'm real sorry.
Speaking of tribes, Ty, did the goblins ever speak about centaurs?
Nope.
The knight nods. Makes sense. Goblins and centaurs aren't real. I mean, look, centaurs ain't nice creatures. They can be quite brutish and nasty, but they certainly ain't friends of goblins. You know what I mean? They're not that low and dirty. That said, rumor has it, long before the war, the centaurs were frequent traders with the elves. Now, I don't know if that changed or not. We certainly haven't seen any of them making it out towards the forest, but they were kindred spirits with those filthy, pointed-eared bastards.
Yes. Well, I suppose if we come back tomorrow, or however long it takes us to get back, we'll have some new information.
All right, then.
Although, if the centaurs aren't friendly with the goblins, then maybe Ty, you should stay here in safety. It may not be. It may hinder us if you come along. Then.
I give him a very cruel look.
Best of luck to you guys. And, I think
Thank you, Kelbra.
Guess we head
that
this
is
way.
that.
So there's Kelbriar's here with one other guardsman, and they have servants, right?
Yes.
Oh, good. I was thinking it'd be like completely quiet in this keep, but yeah.
No, there are servants here. They don't live here. They live in nearby villages or in those little temporary shelters out front. And they prepare you guys meals, so you don't have to eat today. You can take half as many rations as you normally would for today, burning through 2 instead of 4.
Do they extend their hospitality to share dinner with the husband and the heir?
Yeah,
The husband and the heir are not here. They went with the countess.
Ah, right.
Yeah, like her whole family is gone. The keep is almost a ghost town.
What
Right,
kind of
okay.
a place is the keep? Is it pretty nice? There's some riches about.
4-story building. It's not that lavishly decorated. There are some older things that look like they were maybe 80 years ago. These tapestries were great, but they're kind of falling into a little bit of disrepair. You can see some mold growing on the upper corners of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still the countess's place, so the silverware is actual silver. The goblets are quite, well decorated, but they're old. Not that that really matters too much. It's much nicer than your house. It's much nicer than any of the other noble houses around here, but it's definitely not kingly.
Yeah, I think Luther, maybe there's some train of thought in his head where he's thinking, well, this would be prime time for some bandits to come in.
Yeah, I think once we were away from everybody, Ty would look to Luther. There's one knight and one guard with the knight.
Yes. You certainly.
Sleeping in the barracks, we could easily off them as they slept. Say someone wearing a fish mask came through.
Yes, the only worry is
The servants also live in the village.
they know we're here already, and it would be quite suspicious if the knight and her guard were to die.
How about we leave now, and then in the middle of the night we come back?
You make an interesting proposal. I believe first we should.
Oh, no, I got it. We can leave tonight, right? Or we can leave tomorrow, right off. Keep an eye on the keep from a distance. Make sure the Countess doesn't return. And if she doesn't return, tomorrow night we come back and we off them.
Well, if we find the boy, he would certainly be a witness to that.
Well, that's why we actually don't go to look for the boy tomorrow. We wait another day and put that off.
Yes, but I'd quite like for the boy to be alive when we get there. I do share your thoughts on this, but
Well, if we don't find the boy,
we have
then
obligations. Yes, if we
don't
don't
find
find
the
the boy, we might. Oh, we'll see.
I nod my head. Sounds good.
Okay. You guys go to bed, and we'll take a break and come back for our next part on the other side. See you then.